Session 3B, the Xibalbe and Kukulkan in Mayan Myth, Prehistory to 4,113 years ago. While the Annunaki at Ein Gazal and Asikli Hayuk instructed the new species of Homo sapiens in the Neolithic technologies and arts, the Nazca lines were being arranged across the deserts of Peru. While the Nephilim giants walked the earth in Jericho and Ketal Hayuk, the icons of South America were elongating their skulls. While the early empires of Egypt, Sumer, and the Veda flourished in Africa, the Middle East, and Southern Asia, the earliest temple construct was built at Tiwanaku as a shrine to a foreign god whom the indigenous tribes called Viracocha. Here we see his round, decorative crown and shaved chin as Viracocha stands in a supplicant position outside the entrance to the Tiwanaku shrine. Compare this to the contemporary statue of Judea from Lagash, with his round, beaded crown, his beardless chin, and his hands clasped in supplication. Only one side of the gateway of Viracocha, standing behind his stele beyond the entrance to Tiwanaku, is carved with decorative complex hieroglyphics. The top and center carved figure on the gateway of Viracocha represents the same god as the stele's depiction, however is here shown wearing the mask of a feathered serpent. The feathered serpent motif came to symbolize the height of all the subsequent Mesoamerican civilizations to follow, from the Incans of Bolivia to the Toltecs of northern Mexico. It was juxtaposed to the specter of death, depicted as a skull, that symbolized the waning counterpart to the rising feathered serpent. And, just as the longer-skulled Mayans replaced the rounder-skulled Olmecs, so too would the Toltec king Kukulkan assume the ultimate throne of the feathered serpent over the mysterious Mayan pantheon of the Xibalbe. Although at their height the Mayan and Aztec empires both possessed millions of colorful codices in their native hieroglyphic script, when the Jesuit conquistadors landed from 1492, they began a vicious campaign of burning all these historical and mythological records. All that yet remains are a small handful of codices in the Spanish translation of the oral traditional Popul Vuh, the Mesoamerican equivalent of the Sumerian Book of Enki, or the modern Bible. The Popul Vuh describes the cosmology of the universe more concisely than the myth of Nibiru, Sumerian for the planet of the crossing. However, the characters of the Xibalbe, the Mayan pantheon of the crossroads, are essentially the same in number as their various Sumerian counterparts. The Popul Vuh describes the Xibalbe as living from prior to the end of the third cosmological epoch, the jaguar sun, when the animals were created. Following the end of that epoch, at the beginning of the wind sun, the mud people were formed. At the end of the wind sun, there was an apocalypse, and all the mud people were destroyed at the start of the sun of fire rain, and replaced by the wood monkeys. The wood monkeys were, in turn, destroyed in the apocalypse at the end of the fire rain sun by a flood marking the start of the water sun. This marked the creation of our modern incarnation, the corn people. Following this, the Popul Vuh describes the Olmec, dark jaguar, the Mayan, jaguar Quetzal, the Aztec Mixtec, jaguar night, and the Toltec, called Not Right Now in the Popul Vuh, as the four great houses of the pre-Columbian Mesoamerican empires. The Xibalbe, or the Lords of the Underworld, lived during the epoch of the animals, called in the Popul Vuh the Jaguar Sun. Following the apocalypse that ended that epoch, the Xibalbe ascended and took on cosmic scale, representing South Hemisphere constellations and the local planets of the solar system. In this diagram of a circle divided into 12 sections, and crossed in the middle by 6 horizontal and 1 vertical bars between the 12 divisions, we see the rulers of the Mayan pantheon compared with the epochs, or suns, of the Popul Vuh.